another episode of the Sean Farrell podcast. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Jesus Christ died and he rose again. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. So I saw this post by Suicide Prevention Awareness, and it talked about the why of suicide. Okay. And it had the internal beliefs and the external circumstances. Okay. Let's start with the internal beliefs. I'm a burden. The world is better off without me. I can't imagine better days ahead. Okay. The external circumstances. Unmanaged mental health conditions. Loss or change that feels unbearable to move through. Debilitating physical health conditions. Access to firearms or drugs. Bullying or abuse. Okay. And in the middle is suicidal thoughts, intent, attempts, and loss. Okay. Yeah. So those are some of the internal beliefs about the why of suicide and some of the external circumstances of the why of suicide. Okay. And last month was Men's Mental Health Month. Okay. And I believe I saw a post yesterday talking about the suicide death of Twitch. Okay. From the Ellen show. Okay. And after his death by suicide, um, I was hoping it would lead to more conversations, okay, about mental health. But people talked about it for about a week, 2 weeks at most, and then all was forgotten, okay? All was forgotten. And so, hold on. All right. Okay. Okay. So I cannot find that post. Anyway, yeah. So kind of hoping that the death of the suicide death of Twitch was help spark more conversations, but um, we only talked about it for like a week or two. Then the conversation pretty much disappeared. Um, the more conversations we have, the more lives we save. Okay, no, talk saves lives, and if we minimize the conversation, we minimize the lives we save. If we elevate the conversation, the more lives we will save. Okay, this stuff is important because there are people out there who legitimately feel like it's weak to talk about what they are going through, men especially. And so, let's not minimize the importance of talking about suicide. It is important. Okay. And again, the more we talk about it, the more lives he will save. And Marshawn Healing of the Dallas Cowboys ended his life by suicide earlier this year. Earlier in the season. Okay, a few weeks ago, he ended his life by suicide, and let's just keep the conversation going. Let's just keep the conversation going as far as suicide, the importance of suicide, um, suicide prevention, I should say. Um, there you go. Oh, there it goes, right there. Never mind. Ah, then okay. Yeah. So I did find a post about our Twitch. Okay. Um, male suicide, or suicide is still one of the top 10 causes of death in America. Um, silence equals death. Um, and men are still conditioned to not ask for help. In fact, asking for psychiatric help is statistically still the last resort for most men. Why? Conditioning. I'm out here to see the change in my lifetime. Okay. I can remember Dak Prescott. Uh, I can remember Dak Prescott talking about the suicide death of Marshawn Nealon. He was talking about the death of Marshawn Nealon. And he said, and Dak said, Marshawn was telling me things that that he had never told me before. And Dak Prescott said he didn't know that Marshawn was saying his goodbyes. I felt that. I felt that. Um, no, trying to look up the exact quote. Okay, no, no, not that. Okay, so yeah, Dak Prescott said Marshawn Nealon was telling him things that he had never told anybody before. And Dak said he had no idea that Marshawn was saying his goodbyes. Mm. One of the things that Dak does to advocate for suicide prevention is his Faith, Fight, and Finish Foundation. Okay. And on his wrist tape during games, he wears "Ask for Help" on his wrist tape. Okay. And yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help. Okay. Men, don't be afraid to ask for help. Not just men, to anybody else who may be struggling out there. It's not weakness, it's strength. Okay. To ask for help. Um, we all need help at some point in our lives, mentally. Okay. I know for me personally, again, I tried to beat depression on my own. I tried to beat it on my own. The more I tried to beat it on my own, the worse my plight became. And so I reached out for help on my own, by myself. And I never told nobody that I reached out for help. Um, I had never heard the word stigma before when I reached out for help. Never heard that word before. All I know is I just couldn't tell the people who were closest to me, okay, that I was getting help for my high depression. I never knew a stigma existed at that time. So yeah, asking for help is strength, okay, not weakness. All right, that's it, and that's all for the Sean Farrell podcast. I am out of here. Hey, God bless you all. I'm out.